Okay, so it's January 2026, and the media landscape.
Hmm.
It really isn't just shifting anymore, is it? It feels like it's solidifying.
It's hardening, yeah. For years, we saw Netflix as, the disruptor.
Right, the ones who took down Blockbuster.
Hmm.
But that era feels definitively over now.
It is. Looking at this new investment report, they're not trying to disrupt. They're attempting to conquer.
And that's the core of our deep dive today. We're looking at this pretty fascinating thesis on Netflix, ticker NFLX.
The headline is, well, it's a monster. A proposed $82.7 billion all-cash deal for Warner Bros. Discovery.
But the real story here is the recommendation. The stock is down, 35% on the news?
Yeah, about that. And yet this report is rating it a strong buy.
Which is a huge contrarian take. The market is clearly panicked about the debt, about regulators.
But this analysis argues they're missing the forest for the trees. They're missing the rise of what it calls a super aggregator monopoly.
Okay, so before we even touch the Warner Bros. Deal, let's talk about that foundation, the financial fortress they've built.
You have to. You have to start there. They've hit what the report calls an unassailable scale advantage.
The number is just huge. 325 million paid memberships.
And that was for fiscal year 2025, with revenue hitting $45.18 billion. But the growth story isn't just subs anymore.
No, it's the ad tier. That seems to be the new engine.
That is absolutely their new growth vector. Ad revenue grew like 2.5 times in 2025.
To over $1.5 billion.
And the projection for 2026 is for it to double again. To $3 billion. And here's the crazy part. They have a massive fill rate problem.
A good problem, you mean? They've got more viewers than ads to show them.
Precisely. It's a supply constraint issue, which means advertisers are lining up to get in.
And that implies serious pricing power down the line. It explains how operating margins are already pushing toward 30%.
And that scale feeds right into what this report calls the scale data flywheel. This is the real moat.
I ran the numbers on this. It's wild. A $200 million blockbuster for Netflix costs them about 61 cents per user.
Right. But for a smaller rival, say one with 100 million subs, that same movie costs them $2 a head.
So Netflix can spend $17 billion a year on content and stay profitable, while everyone else is just burning cash.
Exactly. And in that context, the Warner Bros. Bid suddenly makes a lot more sense.
They have the distribution pipe. Now they want to own the vault. Harry Potter, DC, HBO, all of it.
It is the ultimate consolidation play. But that ambition is also why the stock is getting hammered.
Investors are looking at what they call the wall of worry. $42 billion in new debt is a lot.
A ton. And the political heat is already on. We're hearing Senators Elizabeth Warren and Tim Scott are both calling for a rigorous review.
And those are very different political viewpoints that's coming from all sides.
Yeah.
The concern seems to be about consumer choice and diversity content.
Sure. And if the DOJ decides to tie this thing up in court for years, that debt gets very heavy very fast.
But the report highlights a plan B, which I thought was interesting. The downside is actually capped.
Right, the breakup fee. If the deal gets blocked, Netflix has to pay about $5.8 billion.
Which sounds like a catastrophe, but
Yeah.
their projected free cash flow for 2026 alone is $11 billion.
So they can literally afford for the deal to fail. Plus, you have that hostile rival bid from Paramount and Skydance now in the mix.
So deal or no deal, it sounds like 2026 is shaping up to be a super cycle for them anyway.
Oh, the content slate is just stacked. You've got Squid Game Season 3 dropping on June 27th.
And the final season of Stranger Things, November 26th, those are what the report calls retention anchors. They stop people from churning out.
And they're taking that IP into the real world. We're seeing live events with the NFL, the WWE.
And those physical Netflix house locations opening up, one in Pennsylvania and one in Dallas, Texas. It's a move from being an app to being a lifestyle brand.
Which brings it all back to valuation. Stocks trading at around 27 times forward earnings.
For a company with this kind of monopoly power, the argument is that's almost value territory.
It is. It's rare to see that. But I do want to leave you with one final thought on all this.
Go through it.
If this acquisition actually happens, if Netflix, this tech company, successfully absorbs a century-old studio like Warner Bros.
Yeah.
Does it even count as a tech disruptor anymore? Or has it simply become the new Hollywood system it was originally built to destroy?